Missed my cue.
Chicago, with a keyboard and some tea, lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius.
Okay. Little bit off my mark. I just barely missed it today. Sorry about that. Hey, it's Spence. It's Friday, August 14th. Oh my God. 2026. It's really weird to say that. I'm trying to last minute adjust the direction of my camera a little bit. I got everything really well prepared today. There we go. Angle was just a little off for some reason. Maybe my desk is turned. Hope you guys are having a great end of summer. We're coming up to what I like to say, the final stretch. It's the final countdown. Today, the topic is going to be have a conversation with Fernando, and I'm going to cover a couple spots. First of all, I want to cover the new chat conversational-first method of interacting with your favorite agentic tool, whether he be in the site, in your phone, in your car. And number two is I'm going to introduce some of the concepts of MinuteLaunch Persona as part of that conversation. But I'm not going to dive deep on it because MinuteLaunch Persona is an amazing tool. I have one of my first big clients going live on social media with the content. I'll share that with you. It's a very complex, evolving capability and tool that requires its own subject matter, but I'll bring it in as part of the conversation today because what is happening is that the tools are evolving from those. Good morning, by the way, everybody who's saying hi. It's evolving from tools where we move the levers to ones where, speaking to Fernando, he moves the lever. Good morning, John. Good morning, Claude. Good morning, Lloyd. The voice is hopefully going to hold up. I'm going to try to be less strident today. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to start the conversation by doing a little Mike Myers from Wayne's World. I am old. If you remember back last July, the idea was on my phone that we're going to have a world where you're going to have an agentic relationship of some kind. And the interface and all of the tools have evolved where we're now able to come full circle. Fernando is now fully capable running an operation for me and at least a half a dozen very significant clients, producing content, doing their social media, writing the code, managing my business, writing the emails, all of these magic tricks. All of it is being done in what we call turn-based conversation, which is what you understand from using a chat. There's a chat interface, and even though I use the hello is the song, the mic instead of typing oftentimes, it's still, I say something, then I wait till he responds. He says it back, I turn. Speech is not like that with humans, especially any of you who have spoken to me. You realize I interrupt the shit out of you because my brain is going 1 billion miles an hour and I can't be bothered sometimes to wait. Well, try doing that with your agentic tool, who's even faster. That's the new model. By the way, I'm going to take a 10-second timeout. I'm getting texted here on the side. We're doing the OGO for the 300 if they buy. I'm typing something with a live request as we speak. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. So I was being asked by Fernando to actually answer some stuff. Now I'm going to show you in a second how he will normally speak to me, which annoys the hell out of me too. So I actually want to suggest before we get deep into this, that speech to speech is really annoying. It's slow, it's interruptive, but when you need it, it really works well. Like, good morning, Julie. So for example, if I'm riding on my bike or I'm taking a walk or I'm in the car, I have some of my most productive conversations for creative thinking, for getting work done. If I'm trying to do hard work and I'm focused, like I'm doing a live event and he's texting me now to please do. If he's texting me while I'm trying to do other work, it doesn't bother me as much, and he can jump in line. Stuart Hoover's going to jump on because he was involved in that conversation. Okay, so let's get back into the thread now that my distractions are slightly over. Jack is in car and I'm on live show. He will grab what he can. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's start with the show and with the slides. But what I wanted to suggest to you is the primary thing is the difference between speech-to-speech versus chat turn-based, okay? When you are taking turns, let's go into a larger mode. When you're taking turns with chat, that's fine. Okay. You type, he replies. You type again, he replies. You type blah, 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 blah. Creative work, it really involves finding every lever yourself. In other words, he will oftentimes say to you, well, Spence or Julie or Claude or John or whatever, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other thing. And a lot of times you're like, listen, man, can you just make lunch? Can you just make the panini for me? If you remember from Star Trek, food replicator, the original Star Trek series, it used to be even on the newer ones. It was a thing in the wall, and you'd walk up and you'd be like, Earl Grey, hot. That was Jean-Luc Picard. You wouldn't sit there and do the levers. There's Worf or some Klingon, I think, doing the same thing. We want to have the ability for Fernando to just make lunch for us, all right? You don't want to be stuck at the keyboard thinking and stopping and typing and waiting and all this stuff. So if we turn it into a talking speech-to-speech, it unlocks a bunch of possibilities. One of which is, like right now, I've already got all of the tools, like a food replicator, to make anything. I've got multiple sites that can be connected with the MinuteLaunch desktop and the workspace, and all backed up to GitHub. I can do that from any mobile device. Like last night, I was in the hot tub, soaking my sore nerves. And I was able to have conversations about this, that, and the other thing, where now Fernando isn't just talking to me like ChatGPT in a vacuum about one thing, but he's actually connected to all of my client projects, all of my sites, all of my context, all of my knowledge, all of the tools, and he can do meaningful things. I'm going to demonstrate for you. I'll show you. He knows where every control lives, because when I built the MinuteLaunch system, this is where the IKEA thing pays off, baby. Fernando is wearing the yellow vest, and I'm just talking to him on the phone. I'm like, hi, is this IKEA? Hi, I'd like to decorate my bedroom for my niece. Do you have any double beds? And the guy's like, really? But he can go, yes, we've got the umlaut and the Voluple, and would you like me to ship that to you? Would you like some meatballs, frozen meatballs with that? So Fernando knows all of the tools, and he knows how to set them all up, and he knows how to optimize. And last evening when we went live with this other big client, the law client, I actually worked with him to, on a live site, improve the software so that it did things for replacing other plugins in WordPress. Like, for example, even though SEO is dead, optimizing for traditional SEO, optimizing for open graph, optimizing for keywords, optimizing for the things that you otherwise needed plugins and brains and time and stuff to do. No. You bring the intention. He runs the kitchen. I'd like that medium rare, please. Okay. There is a slight danger of all of this stuff, but I don't think I'm in a position to fix that. The danger is they don't talk about in Star Trek. Did anybody remember how to make tea? Did anybody remember how to make food anymore? I mean, once you get the food replicator, enough time goes by, everybody loses cooking skills. That's the danger. But I don't know if it's a real big danger for us, because I spent a long time learning how to code and develop along with other skills. And I don't think that I am really missing that skill because I understand the intention of why I was coding, but the skill of coding was really tedious. I mean, it was like, I don't speak Japanese or write it, but I know like kanji, the Japanese alphabet, has thousands and thousands of characters. I've been told when I read books by like, back in the day, Tim Ferriss, you know, the 80-20 rule, that you could just learn 500 characters and survive in Japan. So the same way, I don't think we're going to miss having all of the development skills. And many of you never would have been able to do this anyway, because you weren't developers and that wasn't something you had the time or money to do. Okay, so speech first, full tool access, still Fernando. All right, without further ado, let me not tease you forever on this. So I want to first remind you guys, if, first of all, let's log in. This is MinuteLaunch.com. This is kind of like my hub. He is connected to this, Fernando is, through a million different ways. I've got him connected right now through Claude, through the desktop browser. I got him connected through Cursor. I've got him connected internally. Fernando is the metaphor for the driver of the car, but it's really saying in so many words the LLM you're using. But Fernando can be using any of his tools anywhere, and he could be essentially brought to the table by any number of means. I can have Fernando that I rent and hear through one of the open router tools. I can have Fernando from Claude because I've got a max subscription. I could connect Fernando through Cursor, and suddenly he's, believe it or not, I never thought I'd say this, Grok 4.652 fast, because now that Elon Musk bought Cursor, they created what so far is a really powerful tool. I got to be honest, it's pretty good for doing what he does, and he's built into Cursor anyway, which I have a max plan. Oh, sorry, I have an ultra plan. I'm already paying $200. Might as well use what they're throwing at me. In this case, it seems to work. So Fernando is the LLM, and he could be any tool you choose of the LLM family, but I'm using the metaphor of Fernando because it's easier. When I work with Fernando, we have the MinuteLaunch plugin system, and as you know, I don't have to review this, the MinuteLaunch Canvas block is a standalone plugin that is also going to be relevant here. The key manager allows me to add credit if I want to use Open Router, and then I have all my other keys. One of the things that's significantly improved is for somebody who uses the free version of the plugin manager, which you can add to any client site, gets a lot of this capability built in for free, including, as you can see here, and I talked about this last week, he's got improved understanding of the entire WordPress ecosystem, but also improved understanding of what happens inside of the MinuteLaunch system. And so this is, oh, look, I have more room. What this helps us with is that if you're lost, you can use the free Fernando to ask questions. But Julie had a good thing about this earlier this week. Don't use this for real work, because he is only using the free open router connection. So he's really better than we used to have even in the paid plans, but he's not as capable of the paid plans capability of today. Like if you wanted him to build stuff, he's not going to be as good as Fable 5 or Grok 4.62 and stuff. You'll see this is where you can also, for a client, have a client upgrade and get access to the paid components if you need them. But out of the box, you can see, like, if I ask questions about installing the Stripe Gateway, he can just do, you know, show me exactly what to do next. And he's really pretty capable. He also has capabilities to use the media library, conversations in the chatty way, past chats, skills, including how to do stuff. But the real Fernando, the one you're working with, is working with two main types of interfaces. And by the way, this is really nice. And you can include screenshots and stuff too, if you want. The first way he's interacting with you is through any or all of the tools. So all of the tools have AI enabled capability. Julie followed it down the rabbit hole with the free Fernando. And then she asked me the question. I apologize. I should have been more clear that he wasn't the guy that she's supposed to use for all the stuff. He's there so that if you connect for free or you have a client, that you've got a capable helper who understands the whole MinuteLaunch ecosystem dynamically. In other words, he can read all of the stuff about all the plugins and know up to the minute what's what and what to do. But each of the plugins, like for example, if I go into MinuteLaunch Lab and I go to setup, each of the individual plugins has their capacity to have a bundle to connect independently. Now, this is a legacy that I'm keeping in there because maybe in the future, I'm going to repackage things together. I want each of the tools to have their own understanding. These are the things, Fernando, you can use with me to make recipes. If you needed to use 5 or 6 or 8 of these little accessory, call them appliances in the kitchen, each one has its own instructions for a Fernando to use. But overarching, the MinuteLaunch plugin manager knows about all of those. And so this tool here called Connect Your Agent, this is the new superpower tool. You literally can give out as many connections as you need to every tool you want, as simple as just generate a key, and then you copy the connection bundle, and you're off to the races. For outside agents, in other words, if you're using Claude in the desktop, Claude in the browser, if you're using any desktop tool like Goose, although I don't use them anymore. If you're using Claude, help me out. I was just using it this morning. Opencode.ai. But here's the thing, you don't really need to do that. Why? Because Spence has already created 2 primary tools built in. First of all, MinuteLaunch Lab itself, the lab chat. This is the workhorse of the system now. And this, as you can see, has some really amazing capability, and I'm not going to go into, but it has all the setup capabilities. I think you can use it with Codex Lloyd in the desktop, but I can't guarantee it. If it's a desktop agent, yes. If it is a browser-based agent, the only company with a browser-based agent that has the necessary environment is Anthropic, believe it or not. So if you use like ChatGPT in the desktop, if you use Codex in the desktop, yes. If you're trying to use it in the browser, not many of them. My son is coming over and he's giving me a smirk, but he doesn't know I'm on a live show. Come on in. Door is open. Okay. So, Alex, I'm on a live show. Make yourself at home, or you're welcome to come on around the kitchen here. Don't come through the curtain. So my son is in from California for a memorial we're doing today. So here is all of the tools that he's got, just like if you're using any of their ones. And he pops out. But he's got superpowers because, for example, besides the interface, he's got this incredible canvas that we can use for sharing and saving and creating any of the deliverables that we're working on. So, for example, Dr. Hoover and I are working on a lot of stuff. If I'm having content that is designed in HTML or designed to be shared, instead of sharing it externally through a page or a post, what I do instead is I have it created here, and then I put it in preview mode, and I can show it in a variety of ways, but we can share this together as a full page, right? And because he is authorized as a person who accesses the site, this becomes a productivity tool. But here's the important part. When I work with MinuteLaunch Lab through the lab chat, I'm using, again, the microphone, and I'm using turn-based stuff, right? So if I turned on I'm in auto router. If I said, hey, Fernando, it's Spence, just saying hello. I'm doing the office hours on Friday. Just wanted to say hi. Okay. So he has the knowledge of everything and all of the tools, as you guys well know, and he has the control over which model LLM he is. I can sort by price or capability. I can filter out by my budget. It frees me from the trap of being locked out, which does happen, by the way, of being locked out by Anthropic for usage. Even I had this happen to me. I have an ultra or max plan. And last night, because I was going to town, I got this crazy notice, which really annoys the hell out of me. I am locked out until 8 o'clock tonight. I was working on this Incan Law project. I'm locked out because I hit my weekly limit. I'm like, what? Weekly limit? And so it started asking me to pay more money, not for usage of tokens, but more money like a toll booth fee, because they realize they're going to run out of capability. Here, there's no such problem. I can just go to town, and I've already got all of the context that I need from what's been worked on, so I never have to be locked out again. And the beauty of that is, hey, Spence, good to hear from you. Thanks for saying hi. He knows everything that's going on because all of the work I have been doing in the other site is kept inside of the workspace. So if you follow me, even though I was working with a third-party tool, you see here, he keeps track of all of the other agents that connect with him and what they're doing and all of their work. Now let's have fun. I know I've been teasing you guys, but now let's talk about the chat base. This is the best way to interact when I want to do real work. Talk, wait, look, MinuteLaunch Coach had been my first inclination for how do we create an interface for a client's site subscribers, for their team members or themselves. And it evolved and evolved, but then I jumped ship on Coach for a while and went to the lab. And the lab became the powerhouse. It became the kind of Claude desktop, if you will. Coach was left sort of orphaned for a while, but now he's back, baby. And he's back because now I've enabled voice, and now he's essentially the Fernando personality that allows us to do some crazy cool shit. First of all, we're using what's called ChatGPT or OpenAI real-time speech-to-speech, which didn't exist before. And this has API keys that are very inexpensive that you can go and grab. You copy the key, you go into your Coach, and you do paste in your OpenAI key here, or you do the same thing on the front of the MinuteLaunch plugin manager where the other keys are. You need to have money in your OpenAI account for this because the real-time speech-to-speech costs money. Lloyd is asking a question too. I'm going to talk about workspace because I've also evolved workspace to a simpler metaphor, and I'm going to explain what that is in a second. So Lloyd, hold my hand to the flame. Dr. Hoover is a previous client of mine from others labs, now not only a great friend, but a business partner in a lot of all this stuff. So he is one of the primary people, along with many of you, who's seen this baby be born. Well, thought of, conceived. He was there when we conceived. It was kind of wild. He was playing the music, and then born. And now we're working together, evolving it into real life clients, for which we have several and probably more, I hope. So with the voice, you could choose a dozen real-time voices. You could do custom voices, but the downside of custom voices is then there's a delay in processing speed. Now, one of the things I do not know is if I go into my settings, I hope I can not break this. I'm going to try to share my sound from the computer. Let me see if I can do that. It says echo cancellation, desktop mic. This is where it's going to be a drag because I'm hoping that I can include automatically add presented media to stage, audio avatars. I'm hoping that I can actually include the sound that comes through on this, but we will see. This is StreamYard, so all bets are off. Let me see if I do this. If I go settings, let me do a quick check. How to share desktop sound with StreamYard. I want to share the sound with us, so use the built-in screen share feature. Present, share screen. Chrome tab says share audio. Okay, let me try to reshare, and when I do that, I'm gonna make sure that I enable this feature because I need you guys to hear this. Also share tab audio. It's on. Fantastic. Also share system audio. I'm turning that on. That is awesome. Okay. Okay, so now you should be able to hear it. When we set this up, we can test the voices and stuff in the background, right? So if I say, let's do voice on and go, and I have a lot of other options I'll get to. I, by default, like to use Cedar. Cedar is the sort of closest to Tony Stark's Jarvis. Notice we also have Skins, which is a conversation. Watch this. So, hey, Fernando, just checking to see whether you can hear me.
Hey, what do you need?
Do you guys hear that? Let me know real quick. Do you hear that? Say, Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb.
Can you guys acknowledge that you hear that? I know there's a delay. You hear that, Lloyd? Anybody? Bueller? Yes. Okay, good.
I hear you.
Okay. Now that we got this, the difference in speech to speech is that I can have him anywhere in the site working with tools, but I've made the coach interface so that he can work with me, team members, or a client's visitors. And the reason for this is that he will have different access capabilities if he's working with a team member or me as an administrator versus, let's say, somebody who's a site visitor. The site visitor has the ability to have context sources that are dependent on their access level, but the team people can have access to everything or just part of it, and the administrator can have access to all of it. So it's kind of like a confidant. Let's open this on the site, and he pops out on the desktop too, but let's see what happens. I'm in Tony Jarvis Skin. Now I'm going to go over here. I can go in regular, plain old site skin, or I just got crazy and decided to create Jarvis Skin. I can decide which model to use for his brains. I can move him into ask me mode, or I can have him be in automatic mode. And then I can choose also the voices down here. I have access to all of my other content from the media library to documents and everything else. And this is all, with the same kind of tools for scaling it and seeing it if I want to have bigger ones and so forth. I have all my contacts from my CRM, which allows me to interact with them. And these are available not just to me, they're available to him. And then he has his skills and his documents. The skin has got to maybe fix up the white background here, but just to give you an idea. Let's interact with him by turning him on into voice mode. Hey, Fernando, it's Spence.
Hey, Spence. I'm here. What do you need?
I just want to let you know I'm having my live show now, and you're going to participate with me, and everybody can hear you. Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everyone. Great to be here with you. Let's make this fun, useful, and a little bit lively.
Okay, couple things. Let's show some of your basic capabilities. First of all, you have access to the media library, and you can also find images. You could create images, right?
Yes. I can search.
Okay, but I'm cutting you off. Let's put you in automatic mode, and I want you to be less wordy because you talk a lot. So go into full auto mode. And what I want you to do is look in the media library, see if you've got a video in there of some hot dogs. Or if you don't have a video, you have some images of hot dogs.
Okay. I'll take the wheel for this and keep it tight.
Go into auto mode.
Got it?
Fernando, I'm going to say something to the other people. Do you notice it says hands off now in the bottom right? That's him in auto mode.
I found images of hot dogs and put them up. No video.
Okay, so he has no video, but notice what he's got. He's displayed for me in the tray what he's got with numbers, and I can also browse these myself. If I was on a phone, these are mobile friendly, which is really a big deal because this is mobile first concept, right? So the idea being, I want to be able to interact with him in a way that the tray and everything else pops out. I can adjust this to suit and see what I need to see. Okay. So when we're doing this, let's go back out to full desktop. We could do productive work hands off, right? Okay. So I kind of killed him when I went into that emulator. I apologize. That emulator cuts off because it's JavaScript. Fernando, sorry, I accidentally cut you off because I went in emulator mode. Go grab a couple pictures of Chicago hot dogs from my media library and then write an email. This is going to go to drhoove@gmail and says, Stuart, I'm seeing that you and everybody else is here at the live event. Let me tell you about the history of Chicago hot dogs. And I want you to use the WP Launchify email style. Show it in line.
Okay. I'll pull a couple pictures, then I'll draft the email in your house style.
I'm muting him so he can't hear me now. So I put him in hands-off mode. He's taken my conversational instructions. He's going and getting the stuff, and he's going to produce it and show it in line. And then I asked him to set it up as an email, which he could send to a real contact.
You got it?
If he doesn't know about it, he'll find, and then he'll send it out using MinuteLaunch Mail. Okay, so here, I'm reading your email right now. He wrote it in the right style, Dr. Hoover, Gmail. Hey, Stuart, I'm seeing you and everybody. Here's the hot dogs. Can you change it to be signed by Fernando and then send it out with MinuteLaunch Mail?
Okay. Let me... One moment. I'm updating the signature and sending it through MinuteLaunch Mail.
Right. So Lloyd's asking, if you extend this, you'll be able to add other external agents from other systems.
It's sending now. If it takes a moment, that's just the mail system finishing the send. Sent to dockhoover@gmail.
Okay. I'm going to check that in a second. So Lloyd, here's the deal. This interface is the speech to speech. And right now, the speech to speech is taking the data and the context and the tools that he has REST API connection for and interacting with all of the things in the site by voice. So I don't have to. He's just visually. Now, if I was in a Tesla, which I don't own, or a car, he could just show all the things on screen, but I'm mostly interacting from ear. I think the answer is yes. If you wanted to, you would have your connection to another agent be able to do similar things. But at the moment, that's kind of just a metaphor because your other agent, when they connect, is actually Fernando. I'm right now connected through using the automatic mode of Open Router, and I'm probably using something like DeepSeek or Kimi. It's not Sonnet or Claude or Opus or anything from Claude. So all I'm saying is this is the tool that my driver, who happens to be Open Router, is using. But you can, either way, as I'll show you in a second with the desktop. All of the context, all of the information is all shared in this site. That's the important part, including these conversations here. Let's talk about that in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go check real quick. Just stay here for a second while I check, okay? I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go, I'm in the different account. So I'm going to actually open up MinuteLaunch. I have this interface here. I was going to look, I'm going to have them send an email to me because that way you can see it. But if I go into MinuteLaunch and I go to the MinuteLaunch Mail, I could just use the tool and I can see what was sent to whom. And you can see here, just like Gmail, I've got an interface that's awesome that allows me to see what was sent to him. The cool thing, though, is if I go to his profile, his CRM profile, it's got a history of me interacting and sending him the email. So I don't ever have to wonder, did I interact with him? Now, Dr. Hoover and I are working together with our LaunchPure business. Having this conversational history here is imperative because I've got other tools like MinuteLaunch Prospect or MinuteLaunch Remodeler or any of the other research where you want to have a relationship with a human who you keep track of in the CRM, and whether they get automated mails through Fluent CRM or manual mails, we want to be able to have an inbox relationship that as a team, Dr. Hoover and I can share. And that's what we're getting here because you can essentially see all of the stuff. Dr. Hoover, tell us if you got the email, please. I can reply back here and I can continue the conversation. If Stuart were to reply back, Stuart, if you can, and we'll see if it comes through. If he replies back, it's a team email box here in the site without me having to do anything other than using the automatic setup of MinuteLaunch Mail. Let's take a pause for a second. So it's speech first to do work, full tool access. It's still the same Fernando. He's just got everything that he needs in one box. And Stuart, I think it's connected, but if it doesn't connect, don't worry about it. But let me know if you get it. It'll probably say Agent Mail on it. 2 modes. Turn-taking chat is when we do real work. That's where 99% of the stuff I do is, because listen, I don't want to listen to him go blah at 2 a.m. Plus my voice is cooked. Speech to speech is great when I'm driving, when I'm walking, when I'm thinking. I want to contemplate the meaning of the universe. I want to have him do cool stuff. For example, I mean, it's mundane, but imagine this. Fernando, that was awesome. I see that you sent out the letter. Can you give me a map that shows, I'm walking around downtown Chicago. I'm at Lake and LaSalle Street. Where's the nearest coffee shop? Show me a map. This is a ridiculous trick because any phone can do this. But what I'm saying is interesting is I could do research and come up with these things. And I could use the conversation of what he can see combined with this to put things together. Okay, sorry, I'm done talking. Show me.
I'm checking nearby coffee options, and then I'll put a map up. Nearest is Big Shoulders Coffee, and the map is up.
Okay, cool. So if I have these links and I click them, Fernando's just given me, they open up the thing. This is a party trick, but it's still useful because what I'm saying is he could take this information. It's part of his context. Fernando, do you have a list of the last 3 people that I added to the Fluent CRM?
Let me check that for you and pull up the most recent additions. I can't pull out the last 3 names from that response because the contact details are masked. So I can't honestly list them.
I think you could get to them, but let's try a different party trick. Could you bring up the last video clip that was produced in the MinuteLaunch Persona?
Sure. I'll pull up the most recent Persona clip so you can watch it.
So I'm going to have him put up this clip, and then I could talk about what needs to be done or produced or done differently, and he can do it. We'll see.
There aren't any Persona generations available.
Well, show me the last media library clip that was made. I don't know if you're having trouble or not because you're still experimental, but use the MinuteLaunch Persona and grab the clip from the media library, the last MP4 that was created.
Okay. Let me pull up the most recent MP4 in your media library and show it. That's
Okay. So here's a picture of, let's say, Fernando. This is actually
running all these AI.
So Fernando, this is you and me at a barbecue. Do me a favor, create a brand new image of Spence and Fernando using a clip from this or another clip from the media library, and have the 2 of us riding bicycles along the lakefront and make it a 9:16 wearing similar clothes. Can you do that?
okay. I can put that together, but I need your go ahead to start creating it.
Yeah, go ahead and start creating. You have permission.
I'm on it. I'll create a new 9:16.
Okay, so all I'm trying to
with that
present to
scene
you
and
guys
matching
is
outfits.
imagine the situation where he has access to all the complex tools, including, like, for example, if some of the things I still need to work on because he's literally brand new. But like if we go into, I know why he doesn't have MinuteLaunch Persona. He doesn't have MinuteLaunch Persona because it's not connected on this site. I'm going to show you in the other site. I've got him connected with MinuteLaunch Persona. He can do things he's got tools for. He doesn't have any data in Persona because I haven't used it yet here. You'll see what I mean. You see it's empty. My mistake. But he does have access to the Media Hub library, and he has access to the tools like, for example, MinuteLaunch Image Editor, create an AI image. And in doing so, he can do amazing work for me. Notice in the Media Hub, in the media library, we have all these other tools for human beings.
It's on screen now.
Do cool work. But when we work with him, he can access them remotely. Okay, let's see what he's got. All right. So you created an image which was cool, but I forgot to tell you that we needed to use the reference image of myself, Spence, and Fernando exactly. So can you call up some examples of images that are marked or are Spence and Fernando, and then remake that with us as the reference images in the characters? Oh, he's still muted. You know what? My apologies. I forgot to tell you that we needed to have a picture of Spence, me, and Fernando used as the reference images. I didn't ask you to do that, so that was my mistake. I also realized I forgot that MinuteLaunch Persona isn't there. It's on another site.
No worries. That happens. If you want, I can redo it using reference images of you and Spence from your media library.
Yeah, actually do that. I'm Spence and you're Fernando. But if you look for a picture of Fernando, which is you, you'll see it. There's a picture of Spence, me, lots of them. Both of us have good pictures that have orange backgrounds if you want, or just use it from that video. Either way.
Okay. I'll pull reference shots of you and the Fernando image.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the slides because the point is...
Got it. I'll use one of your Fernando images and one of your Spence
when you
images
start to learn how to do this
scene.
stuff, when you start to do this stuff, you start to see a pattern of behavior. Certain things work well as types. Some things work better as voice. Some things work together. All right. So I typically use this headset here when I'm walking or exercising or biking. I have it under my helmet. Fernando can talk to me. If I tell him to be automatic, like you just heard, he goes automatic. If I tell him to be less wordy, he is. I'm not glued to the screen. And so I'm basically learning how to say things to describe which tools I know he has and how to use them. Like, oh, I need a reference image. So go to the library and get a reference image of me, Spence, and Fernando, which if the tools are working right when I created those, I have that information.
The new version is on screen.
Okay, he's telling me he's done. Let's see if he got a good reference image. So he's still kind of screwed up because I just didn't probably give him the right priming. And I'm not upset by this at all, but here's what I'm going to do. Watch. I'm going to go in here and I'll find some images of Fernando and myself. And by the way, I can do that. I can make it a little easier if I do this. Okay. I'm gonna show, for example, there's a picture of Fernando, and use it in the chat. And I'm gonna find another picture of me. Again, these are just party tricks, basically, but it's useful party tricks because I'm trying to show you the lowest common denominator of stuff that he can do as a way of reference of, let's just use this for right now. Okay. Fernando, hold on. I'm going to use these. Fernando, I've got two things in the tray. Can you still hear me, by the way? Oh, he's muted. Fernando, I've got two things in the tray now. Can you see them? The left one is Fernando, and the right one has a picture of me, Spence, with a robot. Can you use those faces and put us on the bikes? Okay, sorry, I had accidentally turned off your mic. I've got two images in the tray. On the left, number one is Fernando's head, and number two is a picture of me, Spence, with a robot. Can you use those as the reference images and remake it, please?
Okay. I'll rework it with those two references in mind.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see if he redoes that. I'll leave your microphone on. All right, so let's go through some of the slides. Fernando, I'm talking in the background. Just ignore me until you're done. Fernando knows every lever, toggle, the setup is in his reach. You tell him what the outcome is you want. He finds the tools to use. It's, again, like asking for a meal. I want a cheeseburger with fries, medium, with a Coke. You don't have to actually go to the grocery store, buy the ingredients, make the hamburger. Design becomes a conversation, which is interesting because with my new clients and all these bigger things, they're producing some crazy stuff. Be prepared, sit down. Okay. This is one of my other new clients that created this entire concept from conversation. Get the beef box. This is a way to buy Italian beef. My clients are the Favia brothers here in Chicago, and you can buy a box for a party for Chicago sporting events. The idea is you could set it up for specific games or the whole season. You get it for a certain number of people. You can subscribe to it. All of this site was done from a conversation. I did not literally lift a finger. The whole thing. Now, my ideas came through, the business acumen, the experience, but the tools themselves, this was all conversational. Creating this content for the promotional stuff was also done through MinuteLaunch Persona using my prompts verbally. You get a kick out of some of these things, I think.
It's halftime. We're out of food.
You had one job.
I can
Relax.
remake it.
I got
but
the beef
I need
box.
to know what it is right now.
How'd
a
you
single
get
slide
it?
image,
Subscription.
sequence of slides, or promo graphic.
Okay, so he's talking in the background, but here's a bunch of
12 of
videos
us, one frozen pizza.
that essentially explain the position of the marketing, which is, you know, you got one job to do, get the food for the party, for the event, don't mess it up. And the videos and the marketing, the social media are around that concept, which is something that I found very good success with. But the creation of this whole thing is done through talking about it, not typing about it. Oh, sorry. Fernando, I'm really sorry. I kind of screwed you up because I started playing videos. You're probably confused about what I was asking you for. Can you just get me that original image and then I'll put you on mute?
Got it. I'll pull up the original so you can see it again.
Did you make the image of myself and Fernando on the bikes?
It's back.
Yeah, but that's the one before you use the reference images. Can you remake that with the right reference images, please?
Sure. Let me rework it with the right references.
Okay, and I'll put you on mute so you don't hear me talking. Thanks. Okay. You also notice here's a problem. Let's say I got people, my son came in, like in text, I'm talking about other stuff, the video's playing, like he has no freaking idea what I'm talking about when that happens. So you have to be more cognizant about what you're saying when you're talking to him. He doesn't understand the nuances of where you're at, right? So we have the MinuteLaunch Coach, who's the voice, the door-to-door day. The lab is the workhorse. We have all the tools with the images and pages and so forth. We have the CRM, the commerce, all of the capabilities
It's remade and on
are
Skype.
wired together. Let's see if he's got it. Can you show it to me in the tray? Because I think you're showing the original. Can you show it to me in the tray? Because I think you're still showing me the original one.
Sure. I'll bring up the remade one in the tray so you can pick it out.
Thanks.
There it is. You're looking at the remade
That
one.
is not it. That's still not the right thing. Here, just to prove a point, because I don't want people to be disappointed. Make an image of a turtle riding a duck playing tennis with a rabbit. Make it photorealistic in a cartoon style and use the MinuteLaunch image editor and show it in the tray. And then write a story about that says how awesome it is to be able to make creative work using MinuteLaunch. Let me know when that's done, okay?
All right. I'll create that scene and then add a short story to go with it.
Yeah, and then show it in line when you're done and let me know. Thanks. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to put you on mute, okay?
It's still generating in the editor. When
Okay.
it finishes, I'll put the new image up in line and then I'll let you know.
So as a tool, and this will get better because I'm nowhere near finished with him, he will have access to all of your stuff. We will essentially drive all of the tools remotely. He will get better at being able to do things from just understanding the history of it. Like when I showed you a minute ago, do the WP Launchify style email. That's the kind of stuff like I don't have to say it a million times. I'll just tell him when I say email, that's the style, but it looks like what I need it to be, signed by Fernando. He will change from the back and forth of typing into a conversation. Like when you and I speak, any of us, we have conversations. Yes, I interrupt a lot and so on and so forth, but he's interruptive too. That's the way conversation works with humans. So you can bring your voice instead of your typing, and you can interact in a collaborative way, not through a bunch of tools. Like Spence needs to teach you which lever to do and so forth.
Let me put it up so you can see it clearly. It's in line
Spence
now.
or you just talk to the chef
in a bright court
and he does it, or you go back and forth and he shows you.
Swung a racket with
by the way, he doesn't know that I'm talking. So
fired shots back with a grin. It felt like a tiny proof of what's possible. You describe something wild, and in minutes,
I'll come back to
it becomes a real visual you can share, tweak, and build on, all without breaking your flow. That's the magic of creating through conversation.
Okay, great. Now put it together in a document where you write it in the WP Launchify style, show it in line, and embed that image in the middle, okay?
Okay. I'll put that together in your house style and show it in place.
So he was basically like, he wrote a story, he made the image, and I'm just talking to him. I have the judgment. I have the taste. He does the work. Together,
it's on screen in your house style.
We arrive at the outcome,
in the middle.
right? So here's what he did. Let's go full screen. He created the story in the WP Launchify style with the image that he made. It's ready to ship. It's no different than when he did this. By the way, we did a similar thing for another client of mine that's local. This is a business operation. Get the smoke box, all the content. We got Ink and Law now, our first client, going live with these amazing social media things with the videos that go with them. All of this is being done with these tools that I'm going to talk about for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to call it a day.
Holy my shoulder. That door came out of nowhere.
Bet you wish you'd learned to fly.
Hey, aren't you Attorney Howard Ankin?
Yes, and I'm here to help. In Illinois, whoever opens that door is responsible, driver or passenger. Injury law made personal. That's Ankin law.
Now, every single bit of all of this is done through MinuteLaunch systems with the tools, from the content to the pages to the design to the creative, and all of it back to Lloyd's question. I promised I wouldn't forget you, Lloyd, on this one. Lloyd had asked earlier, one workspace for one project. I'm in the middle of revamping the workspace. The workspace is what I was referring to earlier, where if we wanted to, this is MinuteLaunch.com. I can have MinuteLaunch.com be either a client site, a sandbox for creating plugins or test work, or it can be a hub for running my business, interacting with development of plugins or client work. And what's going to happen in a more simplified way is that when we set this up, I will be able to connect my GitHub to the site I'm connecting with, whether it's my hub or the client. So it syncs up everything and keeps it stored. I'll be able to connect my desktop or desktops. So GitHub, the site, my desktop, all can talk at once. Now, go back to what we just talked about. The idea here is that I'm going to ultimately have my hub, MinuteLaunch, be the place where Fernando does all of the work for me, my partners, and my clients. But each individual site could also have its own Fernando to do stuff, and they could work together. But here's the idea. If I tell the Fernando here, go work on the MinuteLaunch Persona plugin, he can connect over to this other site in InstaWP, which is here, connect and do work on developing the plugin in real time, which is what's been happening. So I have one guy that I have a relationship in my main site who has stored all of my knowledge and all my experience for both the stuff we're working on together in that site, but also for development sites, client sites, projects, and so forth. And that liberates me because it lives in that hub in the cloud and it's backed up in GitHub. But if I want to connect my desktop agent, or I want to connect my phone, or I want to connect my car, I just connect it and it can tap into all of that. And through voice or chat, we can have as much of a conversation as we need to have. So I want to show you MinuteLaunch Persona and some of the things that we're just referring to, because that's also evolved as well. When I want to have my guy do work, when I connect him to this, he can use the very same tools of MinuteLaunch Persona, or I can use the built-in tool that is Agentic production. So instead of me literally having to choose, here's Dana Whitlock. Dana Whitlock is a pickleball player, and the props and the scenes, I could just have the voice to set this up myself here in the site or remotely through Fernando if he's connected. So I could say to Fernando, listen, go to MinuteLaunch Persona and produce a video about Dana Whitlock playing pickleball. Or I can do it here. Produce a 9:16 480p 5-second video of Dana Whitlock. Have her dressed in yellow pickleball clothing, hitting the ball, have it a very cinematic effect like a zoom lens and some dramatic music. Have her using a cell kit pickleball and a pink ball. Her paddle is a cell Kirk. Okay. I give him the prompt. He knows how to turn that into the necessary instructions for the tool to get the outcome we want without me having to do any of this stuff. That very instruction could be done through Fernando remotely. You follow me? So look, he's made a plan. He's asking for my approval. CDance 2.5, 5 seconds, 480p, 9:16. I'm approving that. I say, let's generate. While we're talking, MinuteLaunch Persona is going to work on this clip of taking the actress of Dana. She's an imaginary person. Dana Whitlock, a pickleball player. Okay. This is her cut sheet. And it's going to turn her with all of her attributes into a video per what we asked for. Now, to put this together, let's say I do that and I produce a production. I've got a clip. Remote Fernando or local Fernando can be told to take that media and turn it into the media posting inside of social media based upon what my goals are. If I have created landing pages using the tools like I did for howardangkin.ai or ankinlaw.ai, I can have those optimized where all of those images, all that content, all the SEO, all of the things for social posting work perfectly as well. All right. So, hi, Jack. Alex is here and I'm still on the show. If I go inside of MinuteLaunch Social, you can see that that has received an update as well, where it's agentically controlled first. You give it your idea, you tell it what you want it to do. And you can also do things now where if you want, you could just generate emails directly. You don't have to start with social posts because that's been a popular tool for myself where literally I want to just create an email first from something and do the post later. So it can take like a content and a concept, make it into the email. In our case, what I'm suggesting it's going to do is it's going to do further. It's going to take the thing that he's just created, which is the video, and be able to not only know the page to send people to, but it will put the video into social media and send it out. The whole thing. Imagine I'm having a conversation with Fernando and I'm literally saying, look, dude, I want you to go make a video about this, that, and the other thing based upon what's working and let me know how it's going. Now, one last thing, because I'm a little chatty on this. Social media productions and the pages, we have analytics. We have MinuteLaunch Analytics to gauge how well the traffic is coming back. We have MinuteLaunch Social to tell us how the analytics are of being received and clicked on at the social media. And all that data is coming back into the hub where I've got the tools and Fernando. So to get back to my main point, because I know I'm going off into Spence's blowing your brains here. When you talk to Fernando, he can run the kitchen. You can say, here's my ideas. Let's talk about it. Let's research it. I had a call with somebody in Fathom. Let's bring that in. Let's make some new sample media. Let's see if it, in other words, you could start to talk to him like a definitive expert. And he has all of the tools to do the work and all of the ways for you and a team member or team members to collaborate. And all of it is in a box that starts at $97 a month self-hosted, where you add the keys and do more. And we're not going to be typing. We're going to be talking mostly. Well, let's see if this Dana Whitlock thing happened quickly enough. Usually a 5-second video takes 3 to 5 minutes, depends. When we do it, this connects through Top View AI, which is a service. It's revoicing it in Dana's voice, by the way. And I can have him make the captions too. I'll show you. But it goes and talks through the API. So we're using the tool to manage all the assets here, including, by the way, we can keep track of, you know about this, production setup for like my defaults. We can do clients. So Ank & Law has a whole bunch of stuff that I want to manage. Not only their clips, but I can also manage all of the characters and the assets and the scenes. But I can also do quick edit if I want and add to it. But the idea is for client work, for production work, for sponsorship work, for creating dynamic stuff. We talked about this. I could take Dana and I can find her sponsors like Selkirk Sport, Lulu, and I can make a composite that's like, I'm going to take Lululemon and I'm going to do, let's do something more obvious because Lulu's, let's do Gatorade and let's put that on the paddle face for Dana, right? Generate. I can create automatically or manually a whole bunch of content that has Dana with brands, turn it into videos, turn it into production things, and then send that off to the clients. And I'd be like, would you like to sponsor Dana? She's got a cut sheet here that I can also produce of like her rates for this is what it would be like if we had her doing your videos, or if we had her doing your print ads, or if you wanted, you could sponsor this local pickleball tournament because we've got a tool that does that. I can even make a star page with Dana that shows all of the details of her and the products and services in a way that instantly turns her into a hero. There's no data yet to put in here for the purposes of recognizing her value to outside agencies or for me running a site for her. So I'm talking fast because I think you can kind of see how crazy this gets so quickly. I can now take this and use this image in a video if I wanted. And first of all, let's see what the clip looks like because it's been already made. Oh, let's play the clip. Remember I said, you know, pink
Experience the thrill of pickleball. Join me on the court.
Okay, now I take that and I could either remake it with the new like thing that I created with the Gatorade, or I could just do the captions thing, which is awesome. Captions gives me full control to make what was said exactly and revoice or change it, but I can also just revoice specific words. If I don't like what she said, I can change it. If I want to have her voice be different, I can change it. If there's 3 or 4 people in there, I can change one of the person's voices. But the idea is I'm creating an asset that's now available through sharing or otherwise anywhere. I could copy this because this is on MinuteLaunch Persona. And I go back to Fernando and I could go, hey, Fernando, I'm giving you a link to a video of Dana that I just made. Can you create a page with Dana on it in the WP Launchify style that says, hey, Dana is playing pickleball here? And let's see if you could create that without any help.
All right. I'll take care of that page in your house style and put it right on screen. Want me to handle this and come back?
Yeah, I want you to handle it, but I also want you to make it a playable embeddable. So if you need, I can give you the embed code, but I think you already know how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so just to wrap up, I wanted to show you guys MinuteLaunch Persona.
You got it.
Live. All these other tools are live. The desktop, all of this is available for you. A lot of you had asked, Spence, how am I ever going to figure this shit out? Like John asked Julie, all of you. Okay, here's how it's going to go. I'm just coming around the corner to this final, like, oh my God, it's all working and I got real paid clients and da, da, da. Imagine if when I bundle this together, I start using this.
It's on screen now,
to empower Fernando
if you want to publish,
to give you all
so.
of this all the time in your site. In other words, Fernando becomes my ability to teach you in your own sites. And I give you all of the assets and capabilities that he's capable of. But the idea being is there's no need for Spence to document it because Fernando will do it. And even better, like Julia's seen and Anne's not here, she's on vacation. Your Fernandos will be able to talk to my Fernandos directly if you need an improvement or a bug fixed or an add-on, okay? Which is really quite incredible too. I'm going to tell him one thing. Can you change the size and height of the 9:16 video? You have it as 16:9. Make sure it's small enough to fit inside of a laptop screen, but adjust that for me. I'm just telling him it can't go wide format. It's
Sure.
a vertical
I'll
format.
adjust the video
Fit
layout
it in
to
the
a
top.
smaller 9:16.
But
frame that
imagine
fits in
your
there.
site and your guy not only can do all this stuff and have access to all this stuff of the knowledge, but like if you have problems, he could just talk to my Fernando. Because you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be talking to humans. And your Fernando and my Fernando are going to be using all these tools.
Done.
And by the way, there's other things that I haven't
9:16
shared with you,
and the
businesses
updated preview is
that
on screen.
I don't want to reveal at the moment, but that Dr. Hoover and I and other partners and I are doing that come from these tools that are real business outcomes. And the business outcomes, besides some of the ones that I've shown you, are really valuable at this time because the thing you're selling is a platform. It's IKEA. You have IKEA and you now are an early adopter, know how to use it. And all that I've been promising is turned into a weird reality where everybody else has randomly got parts laying around trying to figure it out. You've got a system. You could do exactly what I'm doing now today. That's the part I'm most proud of. Okay. So he still did one thing that's kind of weird. So I'm going to just tell him. 9:16 means it has to be more vertical than horizontal. You did a square. Can you fix that, please?
Got it. I'll fix the layout so the video is clearly vertical and not square.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll tighten that up so the layout behaves like a true vertical frame.
Good.
You got it. I'm fixing the page again so the video is unmistakably vertical, and then I'll show the updated preview.
Okay. You don't have to say anything until you're
I'm
done.
updating it now with a fixed vertical frame.
Hey, Fernando, you're too
Got it.
talky.
I'll
Just
finish
stop.
the update and only speak once it's done.
Do you know, like the friend? Like it was a Saturday Night Live thing where he's like, you know, like,
Understood. I'll stay quiet until it's done. I'll fix
like you're the friend that talks too much.
and then
I don't
show the
talk too
updated
much.
preview.
No, really, you can't stop talking. What do you mean I can't stop talking? That's what it feels like. He usually takes about the same amount of time, but there's this
Done.
like,
The updated preview is on
human
screen
thing
with a true
about
vertical frame.
how long do we have to wait for this thing that's like most amazing of all? Well, and he still messed up a little bit, but like you get the idea that it's considering what we just did, I'm perfectly proud. MinuteLaunch Persona is able to do the tool work. We have the 23 other tools that do the other hard work, the research, the mail. All of these components are a system. And guess what? My most proud thing of all, besides that I love you guys and you've taken this journey with me and most of you have become partners or friends or VIPs, is that this is the exact thing that we need to have at this exact moment because the world is turning into a really bifurcated place. I think it's an amazing opportunity, but there are those that believe in a human future that is positive and optimistic, and we all have things that give us this amazing outcome. And there's a whole set of people that are melting down in public, attempting to do the opposite. And I'm proud to be working with you and working with this stuff to make a difference in the world that way. And I really, truly mean that. It doesn't mean that like making fun videos and pages is important in that sense. It means that because there are literally a subset of human beings now who literally want to have a world of cages and flock cameras and everybody tracked and controlled and the water is an asset that they control. Like there's some crazy shit going on that's right in plain view. And the only thing that's stopping them from like just steamrolling over all of us is that we have access to these kinds of tools to counterbalance it. And I am not a rebel and I'm not a politics person, but I am saying to you that when it comes to WordPress in specific terms, this is all being done on WordPress with 0 plugins that I did not write. It's one plugin, MinuteLaunch Plugin Manager, and all the virtual software on top of a free WordPress box running on an $8 server. Just let that sink in for a second, both from a management standpoint, an update standpoint, and everything else. And I know you guys are already sold on it because you've been here every week, but I love you to death. I hope this is impressed upon you. The future is real, and I continue to do real work with real clients to further refine stuff. So we're going to see how this new outcome happens with this Ankin Law stuff. I'm really proud of because on personal level, but I think this is going to have one of three kinds of responses. Oh my God, love this. Oh my God, hate this. Or I don't know what's going on, but this is interesting enough that I realize it's going to happen. And I think it's inevitable that this type of production is going to replace normal production, which causes us to have a human response of, oh, that's a shame. But on the other hand, that's ridiculous because I grew up when I used to have Super 8mm movies with no sound as a kid. And oh, it was nostalgic, but like those are in a box melting and I don't even know what my childhood looks like. All through the years, the technology changed to video, but even those, I can't play some of the things. I don't have DVD player. I don't have like DV tape player anymore. Like technology has been moving forward forever. So to be a Luddite and put your head in the sand is ridiculous. This is the inevitable way that production is going to happen because it's infinitely faster and cheaper than getting a bunch of real humans standing in a scenery for all day at $100,000. We just have to adapt to where and when we use the tools, and I'm proud to be a part of that. I love you guys to death. I look forward to sharing more with you. I'll see you on the next video.